So I talked about the renal failure, and let me say this that I have gotten myself through so much. I can't believe it. So, all right, what was I seeing the doctor for in 2013 for why he was keeping track of the condition of my kidneys? He was keeping track of the conditions of my kidneys because he was giving me lithium carbonate. Why was he giving me lithium carbonate? Because I had tried to commit suicide in November of 2012 twice. I tried one weekend, failed, so I tried the next weekend and failed. So, in my failure, I was sent to Fairfax Hospital. It's a dual diagnosis clinic in Kirkland, Washington. And at that clinic, I spent 2 weeks there, and it was a remarkable 2 weeks, except they took me off the benzodiazepines. And they started giving me things like Seroquel, which they started giving me a whole bunch, like they were trying different things on me. So they were giving me different things. And so I was released. I was released from there into the care of Seymour, which is a medical clinic with a mental health facility too. And so I was released into the care of a psychiatrist at Seymour. And I started seeing a primary care doctor at Seymour too. Nobody told me I was going to experience benzodiazepine withdrawals. Nobody told me I was going through benzodiazepine withdrawals. The psychiatrist ended up quitting, like after my second or third month going to her. She ended up quitting. And so I was seeing the primary care because when they give you lithium carbonate, they have to check your kidneys every 2 or 3 months. I can't remember right now, because that strong of lithium will tends to harm the kidneys. So, okay. I was also seeing one of their mental health clinicians there. I think I saw her every week. I don't know why. For a while, I was able to see her, and I think I saw her for about a year or so. But after that, they couldn't take me anymore. Something about insurance, and I'm not sure. I was I was a mess. So anyway, all right. So I'm seeing the doctor, and he's saying to me, "Your kidneys are starting to look bad." And on our in our lab work. So I'm thinking that by the end of the year, you're going to need to be in dialysis. Well, I had worked in a dialysis clinic years before, met my friend Laverne there, and I said, no, I didn't say that to him, but I said that in my mind. Oh, no, no, no. So I went home and started researching lithium and found out that there is over-the-counter lithium, and you have a choice of the lithium orotate as the binder or lithium with aspartate as the binder. So I studied aspartate and I studied orotate and decided lithium orotate would be better for me. So but before I changed, I was afraid. I was afraid of breaking out on my own, and just start buying my own lithium. But the lithium with the orotate was something, they called it 5 milligrams. It's 125 milligrams. So, but anyway, it's not 250 milligrams. So anyway, okay. So I found out about lithium orotate. In the next appointment with the doctor, I asked him if he had ever heard of lithium orotate. And his response was this. He said, He said, yes, I have, but I can't prescribe it. Well, when he said he can't prescribe it, then I thought, uh-oh, then it must be bad, right? I'm trusting the doctor. It must be bad. But he was smiling. He was smiling. He said, but I can't prescribe it. I said, well, why can't you prescribe it? And he said, because it's over the counter. I said, I know, they sell it on Amazon. And he said, yeah, it's over the counter. He said, the only reason I can prescribe lithium carbonate is because it's such a high amount of lithium that it requires a prescription. Does that get your head going in a little different direction? If it doesn't, then I don't know what you're thinking. And the whole time he was smiling. And I said, well, then do you see anything in the lithium orotate that would harm me versus, what I'm taking through prescription? And he said, absolutely not. And in fact, I would love for you to report to me the results of the lithium orotate. Well, I was still really nervous. I said, okay. I was still very, very nervous about it because this is like me striking out on my own, with this orotate stuff. So I decided to go to the pharmacy and I asked the pharmacist, I said, I'm taking this lithium carbonate, but I'm looking at lithium orotate and I wonder if you can tell me, if you see anything in lithium orotate that's bad for me, worse than lithium carbonate. And she said, no. She said, but I can't sell it to you here, because it's over the counter. I said, oh, I know that, but you're a chemist. Chemistry is your background. So I just wanted to be sure from you whether or not you saw something in lithium orotate that will hurt me versus this lithium carbonate. And she said, oh no, it's such a low dose and orotate such a good binder to get the lithium into your brain that it's actually quite good. That was a very positive. So I thanked her, and then I went and ordered the lithium orotate. Now, I was going through benzodiazepine withdrawals, which benzodiazepine withdrawals will destroy organs. Right? I mean, I would think benzodiazepine withdrawals would cause atrial fibrillation before drinking 18% port wine, cheap port wine. It's a good wine, though. That's what we did our communion with. Yeah. Anyway, so that's where I found out about it, was through church. So anyway, yeah, I was going through terrible benzodiazepine withdrawals. I still didn't even know that I didn't know what was wrong with me. I really did not know. I would sit on the floor and just cry and cry and cry, and I couldn't stop crying. I would become hysterical, like literally hysterical. Literally, like my trigger on the last couple of videos, that was nothing. I would literally be hysterical. And my friend Angela saw on our way back in Denver and on our way back from Denver, because Wendy Wells, it just drove me crazy. Hopefully there's a lot of Wendy Wells around so nobody can zero in on that and I'll get sued. But she drove me crazy. So I'm not so sure she was doing anything really wrong. It was me. And anyway, it was hell. It was literally hell. So, but the lithium orotate was incredible. It was incredible. And obviously, from what I started doing, between 2013 and 2019, my kidneys had stabilized, because they weren't treatable yet, but coming close to it, which would be interesting to find out. I just don't want to have 4 appointments in what I think should be done in 2 appointments. That's all. That's all. It's like, no, 2 appointments. That's all we need to let me go get the exam and then let's go over it, either with the primary care or the cardiologist. I don't care with who. I really do want the lab work, but not if it means I've got to go through a bunch of bullshit with a bunch of other doctors, period. So anyway, I got myself through the benzodiazepine withdrawals, and it was a miracle. It's a miracle that I'm even sane. I recovered myself from the Ambien through the Bible, actually, through the Bible, and that was quite a story in itself. But yeah, I started writing about the lithium orotate, and a couple of people from my blog started using it and told me, wow, this is making all the difference for me too. One woman was bipolar, um, diagnosed, but bipolar used to be the catch-all for everything, for women's hysteria to menopause, but anyway, she said, I am bipolar, but what this is doing for me to manage it is amazing. So, and I also was diagnosed with cancer. I get basal cell, squamous cell, and I've even had melanoma skin cancers. And Lorraine Day is a doctor who broke out on her own when she was diagnosed with cancer, to cure it. She had tumors, huge, big tumors, and she broke out on her own to cure them. And she and I talked, and I disagreed with her. She thought her cure, what she was doing to cure her cancer, would cure everybody's cancer. And I don't believe that. I just didn't believe it. And I still don't believe it. I do think nutrition can cure cancer. But I also know that we're all different. So she said, no, physiologically we're all the same. But I said, no, because we have different absorption rates. We have the lengths of our intestines are different, the color of our eyes, the color of our skins, our blood types are different. So no, we're a lot different, even though we're the same. And what has caused cancer in us can be different too. So we ended up disagreeing on that, and that's okay. But I get skin cancers, serious skin cancers, and right now I'm dealing with the basal cell because the Mohs surgeon didn't want to deal with cancer inside my face. And he wanted to deal with the cancer right on the surface of my skin. We disagreed with that. I didn't go to him because his staff told me he's charming and funny, and I need to visit with him so that he can convince me to have the surgery. Well, those were the last things I wanted to hear. If she would have said he was competent, very experienced, and would make sure that I wasn't injured or hurt, that would have been something else. But I broke out on my own. I control my cancer on my own. I've killed the cancer on my face, and now, because it has spread so far into my face, I am working on that. I don't want to spend my life with doctors, and I think that whatever it is that eventually kills me, I'm okay with. I'm 70 years old. I have been put through 22 years of absolute hell because of doctors who are liars and cheaters, and a system that is set up for none of them to be held responsible for the things that they're doing for their money. And it's just, I see it. I don't like it. I don't want to be involved in it. I'm going to be in control of it, or nobody's going to control. If it means they're going to throw me off my benefits or whatever, then you know what? That I will have to live with that. But I am not going to ever not, I am never going to let a doctor take control of my life, my care, my treatment, my nutrition ever again. They're not even reporting, they never even did report that my AFib came from having the flu. I almost died from the flu in March of 2019. My step granddaughter almost died from the flu in April of 2019. That's not listed under the COVID. When I look at all the stuff on COVID, what I see is a bunch of statistical bullshit. The statistics can't even be taken accurately because these people don't even know what the fuck they're looking for. So, you know, I'm settling down. I'm just going back to that doctor when I have the appointment with her, and I'm going to ignore this whole thing about the cardiologist because I'm not going there. I'll do the echo, but I'm not going to go visit some quack who's not going to try to cure me.